Welcome back to part two, my friends. This is what we have so far. It's looking quite nice, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to continue on, and I just want to build up some of the houses and buildings down on this side of the painting. Okay, I hope you don't mind. I just want to refine some of these, and I want to just get a nice warm colour. I'm going to take cadmium red, burnt sienna, a little bit of naples yellow. So I'm going for a nice kind of a pinky brown colour. I just want to refine some of these. Okay, I'm just going to pop a few bits in with this colour. Again, just keeping it simple. It's just an impression, a very loose impression. Bit of naples yellow, bit of white, just building up some parts of this. Okay, that's all. Putting little hints of buildings in here and there. That's all I want to do. Just create a simple little impression of stuff going on up in the corner up there. That's all. I'm going to move across now and start putting in a lot of the buildings down here. I do have a very bright building over there, but I think first of all I want to just create a little bit more mist down around here. I'm just going to take a little bit of white, and I'm just going to, with my small flat brush, I'm going to just pop a little bit of mist across over here. This is dry now, a dry brush, okay? No thinners in this. Just pop a little bit of fog going across the land over there. And I need to be careful not to overdo this now either. I don't want to go too overboard with fog. But I do want to create this lovely, soft, misty landscape over the city. So I'm just popping a little bit. And the same down here now, we have a lot of misty, foggy colour going on over here as well, don't we? So I'm going to pop a lot of fog in. It comes down into a fog over here. And that's looking quite nice already, isn't it? I want to pop in this kind of bright whitey yellowy building over here. So I'm just going to take a touch of cadmium yellow with white and maybe a touch of naples. I just want to pop it in and get that in. That could be a reference point then for the rest of the cityscape in terms of where my buildings are going to go. That could be a nice reference point. So I'm just going to pop a little bit in here. And that will give us a little bit of reference, you know what I mean? And it'll disappear down. Okay, and a little bit of a roof on that. We'll just put a little line across the top of that, just to suggest a little bit of a flat roof or something like that. And a little bit of shadow here and there, where some of the buildings are turning. Okay. Just a little. And I'm going to suggest a few little windows in this as well. So, small pointy brush, a little bit of dark colour, and let's just suggest a few windows here and there. Put a few lines indicating a little bit of detail, a few edges, that kind of thing. So you can see it's just a very light impression of a little building off in the distance. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to go slightly darker now and get some darker rooftops in up here. Okay, taking a bit of black and sienna. And off of that, I'm going to go with a nice kind of a building here. There's a nice curve on a roof on this side here. So I'm just going to pop that in. And I think I'm correct in saying this is the Firk and Crane building down around Shandon Bells area. It's a lovely building just down around there. If you're in Cork, do go and see this building. It's beautiful architecture, and you can go up into Shandon Bells and you can ring the bells and all that kind of thing. It's fantastic. It's a lovely place to go. So if you're visiting Cork City, anytime, do pop over and take a look at Shandon Bells, okay? It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Shandon Bells in Cork City. I grew up here. This is where I grew up. So, yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Very historic. It has a lot of meaning for a lot of people down in Cork. Okay, I'm just going to fill that in there now and put the impression of some rooftops cutting in front of that. Okay, just a hint of buildings, that kind of stuff, just to kind of blank it off just there. And I'm just going to put a little bit of gradient shadow on this building here, so a bit darker on one side, coming around like so. And the thing about this type of painting down here, it's all kind of lights and darks. So you see the way I'm just kind of popping some darks in here and there. It's all that kind of thing. Lights and darks. So you have darks cutting in front of lights and light colours cutting in front of dark colours, etc. It's a lot of that kind of stuff. And this is where a little bit of colour comes into the tonal landscape. You see, little touches of Naples yellow. And I'm going to take a bit of white as well. There's a lot of white bits and pieces going on over here as well. Okay, it's just breaking it up. That's all I'm doing, I'm breaking it up. And adding interest into the painting. It's all about adding interest. So you can make quite a complicated landscape like this. You can make it interesting just by, you know, adding hints of light and dark popping across the landscape. Already that kind of looks like we have a lot going on, doesn't it? It's amazing. It looks like there's a lot of stuff going on over here. A couple of chimney tops perhaps, and just random dark lines here and there, just to suggest detail. I'm not painting actual detail, but I just want to suggest that there is a lot of detail over here. You can see what I mean. I'm just adding little hints of a suggestion of detail. And you can see how it just kind of comes together, doesn't it? Now you can imagine this is going to be a long process, and it is going to be a long process. What I would say is just do a little bit at a time. So do a little bit, pop off for coffee, come back, do another little bit. I find that's the easiest way of painting a big landscape like this. I just find if you're going to continue on for hours and hours, it gets very tiresome and laborious. Just take your time and go across it bit by bit. I like to do section by section, and I am oiling the surface just to help my paints move along a little bit better, that's all. That's enough for now. I'm going to go for a bigger brush. I'm going to go for this lovely new big brush that I have here. I'm going to just take some dark colours now and start putting in. Let's take some burnt umber, a bit of black, and I'm going to start popping in more of the stronger shapes. So I'm just going to give it a very kind of a loose impression of this big one coming across here, okay? So we have a big building here. Comes down at a bit of an angle, so it turns. So it's coming down at an angle like this. Alright, very slight angle. Then it turns around the other way. And that's where we're going to be coming into Shandon Bells then, you see. The big tower. This is Shandon Bells in the front here, this big tower. That's Shandon Bells clock. Typically called the four-faced liar, because there's 4 clocks on this tower over here, and each one tells a different time. And it's caused quite an annoyance for a lot of people, because some people want them all to be the same time, and You know, if you're walking through the city and you want to check the time, who knows which clock is right and which clock is wrong? That's the problem, and that's the issue people have. So they're in the process of trying to get the clock repaired at the moment. So I have that nice little bit done there. I'm kind of generally going to just jump around here and there and just add hints of colour. Just to kind of, again, suggest little bits here and there, bits of detail, that's all. Let's bring this front of this building down like this. It's actually a white building, but we can make it slightly on the light side if we want, or the grey side if we want. I'm going to come over here and suggest a little other building coming down here. And I'll separate these on as well, don't worry about that. What I generally like to do is fill in an area like this, right? Let's just fill in this area like this. And once that's done, then I kind of add details, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to take a nice grey, and I'm going to pop a grey in here. See, you see how loose I'm doing all of this? I'm just popping in hints of colour, keeping everything loose. Now I'll go to this one here. I'm just going to put a nice bright colour in here. Bit of white, bit of yellow perhaps. I just want to pop maybe a hint of sienna. Sienna and white makes a lovely shade. So let's try that. And then we turn and we come over to the shadow side. This will all make complete sense in a moment, okay? Once I put some little details in, it will start making sense. Now, Naples yellow and burnt sienna, and we've a kind of a lovely row of buildings just here. I'm just going to pop that in with that, just like this, just nice and loose. So you can see I'm just building up layers as I go. That's all, build, build, build. Take a bit of black. I'm going to put some black in here. Just a nice dark spot down in here. And a couple of dark spots here and there as well. Then I go very dark. Put some dark bits and pieces back behind this. Again, to suggest tops of buildings and dark points. So you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing now. It's very impressionistic, isn't it? Then I'm going to go to a smaller brush. I'm going to start adding some lights into all of this. Some magenta, Naples yellow, lots of white. And I'm just going to start adding lights into this. Just lightening it here and there. Then I'll take my detail brush and I go in with some slightly darker shades, a bit of burnt umber perhaps. And I'm just going to suggest the fronts of the buildings. Just the roofs here. Just suggesting little lines here and there. Now I'm at a very awkward angle on all of this, so I can't really see what I'm doing. I can't really get the lines straight, if you know what I mean. So I will go over these later and just try and straighten some of these, because I'm at a very awkward angle here. So I can't really get a straight line. It's very, very difficult. So I do apologise. If my lines are completely wrong, I do apologise. But you know what I mean. I'm working at a very awkward angle on the canvas here. So I'm just kind of filling in loose details now, just for now, just at the moment. And I'm going to suggest a few windows. Just a couple, you know, just very, very loosely. And we're just kind of we're getting there very slowly. Now, it's very slow, I understand. It takes a lot of time, all of this, but persevere. That's what I would say. Just keep at it. Keep adding little marks. And it's literally just little marks. That's what I'm doing. Now, take a bit of Naples yellow perhaps. Add a little touch of Naples yellow here and there. Mixing it all in. You see the way, the more marks you add, the better it comes out. So as you're building your painting up, you will notice the more you add to this, the more you see it come to life. And that's what I noticed with a lot of painting. All of these small little marks are going to make a difference. And they tell a little story, each one. So just keep at it. Just keep at it and at it and at it. Don't stop. And just have a little bit of faith. Okay? It will come together, I promise. Just keep going. I'm going to pop some windows in here. Just a few. A little bit of a suggestion here and there, that's all. And again, you're only suggesting little details. Then let's take a bit of white. Pop a little bit of white in here and there. Do clean your brush first though. It helps if your brush is clean. Now you can see how that little detail there, it just really added to the scene, didn't it? That small little detail, little bit of white here and there. These little marks make all the difference, don't they? And you see what I'm going to do then in a minute, I'm going to kind of create a lovely mist down into this. It's going to be lovely and misty. So that's the process I use. I'm going to put these lovely little windows up here. Dormer windows they're called. And then I'll take a little Naples yellow, just for the fronts of those. You see how all this is very impressionistic? It's just marks, isn't it? It's just little marks with the brush. Now you will, if you're doing something like this, you will get the hang of it eventually. Just keep going, you know what I mean? Don't give up. Just keep at it. And you know, it will get there. But anyway, you know, it's just so refreshing painting something like this. It really is, because sometimes you get tired of painting landscapes all the time as well, don't you? Sometimes you do. It can be very strenuous. You know, you're concentrating so much, but doing something free like this, something just lovely and free, it's very refreshing. Do try it. I promise it will help you in your painting in the long run, because You will learn how to simplify a scene. You really will. So I'm just popping a few bits of suggestions. You see, suggestions of windows here and there. Then I'm just going to pop a little bit of light beside some of them. Those little tiny marks with the brush, they do give it a lovely sense of detail, but really they're only little marks with the brush. That's all they are. You know what I mean? It's just keeping it simple. Now let's get some lovely mist across under all of this and sit this down into a misty landscape. Let's take a big brush with a bit of grey. And look, let's just pop a lovely mist down along the bottom of this. You see, the reason I'm doing this mist is because the focus of the painting is going to be this big tall structure in front of us here. That's going to be the focus. So I do want to kind of soften everything into the land around it. I just want to make this lovely sort of misty, foggy morning in the city. Keeping it all nice and simple. So look, isn't that nice now? We have a lovely little soft mist going on, and you can soften it with your brush and do all these kind of lovely soft details. Soften it in. And you see how that now automatically just sits down in the land, doesn't it? And I'm going to go off then for a nice grey down underneath. Again, just to darken the canvas ever so little here and there. And again, it's just, you see, it's just creating a mood, creating a lovely mood in a landscape. And then I go back into some white again, add a bit more in here, create this beautiful misty kind of cityscape. And that's quite nice. I kind of like that type of effect. I'm going to come up then with a suggestion of a few chimney tops poking out, just poking out of this fog, and a suggestion of a few roofs, that kind of thing. Okay, just a little suggestion. So they're kind of disappearing into the fog, so to speak. Now, isn't that just lovely? And I'll just darken a little bit here and there. Add just that little touch of extra suggestion of detail. Okay. And now I'm going to pop on that lovely fog, or that lovely smoke coming from the chimneys. So before I do that, I just want to refine a few of those little points up there, okay? So let me show you what I mean. I just want to kind of straighten a few of them. Okay, let's get some lovely smoke from the chimneys. Let's take a bit of white, and these chimneys down in front here, let's just go with some white and come off of those and bring that white smoke up into the sky, right up, and leave it disappear. You see, I'm softening right through all the paint now, everything. I'm softening through everything. Isn't that lovely? A lovely smoky chimney top. Let's try it again. a bit of white, and start off small, and then it just gets bigger and bigger as it comes up. And it's just that simple. And it's creating this kind of lovely effect in the city, isn't it, of a very busy city, early in the morning. You know, people's fires are lighting and everyone is going about their business. Lovely, isn't it? And I might bring one from here without a chimney top, just coming up out of the mist. And there we go. Now I think that's quite nice. I think it's very eye-catching. It's simple, but very, very eye-catching, isn't it? And there we are. We have one other piece of the puzzle painted. Isn't that lovely? And there we are. Now, you know, you can keep going, adding stuff to this. You know, you don't even have to copy what's there, really. You can just make up your own and add bits in, because it changes constantly. But look, I'm just going for a general feel of the scene. And there we are. I'm going to call that part 2 finished. And we just have this section to do after that. There's also one other piece I want to add in. That's another little church up here. It's the North Cathedral, and the customer wanted me to add it in if I could. So I told them I'd do my best to add in another church. It's only just outside the scene, outside the picture, but I'm going to bring it kind of closer in towards the picture, if you know what I mean. I'm going to incorporate another church into the scene. There's another little church over here which I just want to get in. It's a lovely church, North Cathedral Church. I told him I would try and get that in for him, so I'm going to pop it in around here somewhere. So it comes up like this. Okay, so it goes like that. It's kind of a pinky reddy stone on this church. So I just want the spires of the church to pop up out of the painting. That's all I want to do. So we've 4, we've one there, we've one there, and then it kind of turns, and there's another one here, and one at the back there. So that's the church popping up out of the mist. And then maybe some naples yellow and white, just to show the lighter side of the church. And we have a few tiny details in this. I'm just going to pop a suggestion of a few tiny details in here. I notice a few little bits like this going down through the front of the church, and there's little touches of white coming down. And that's really all I need to do. It's just a suggestion, that's all. And it'll disappear back down then again into the fog underneath. The fog is really overtaking the landscape in the city this morning. And it does sometimes. There's a lot of fog around cities like this in the mornings, low-lying fog. So I'm just going to kind of sit that back down now into the fog. And there we are. And I can add more little details to this if I need to, you know, there's no problem. I can keep adding little bits to it, just to bring it out a little bit more. But I'm just being careful not to overdo some parts. Again, I want it to just sit into the scene just nicely. Okay? And that will do, my friends, for part 2. I think that's okay for part 2, isn't it? There we are. So look, I will be right back with part 3. Do not go anywhere. There we go, that's better. Thank you so much for watching and joining me. And you can see how easy I kept all of this now just by putting blotches of colour here and there. And just a tiny suggestion of windows, roof lines, that kind of thing. Just keep it simple, but it has a lovely effect. It's more of an impression. I'm happy enough with that. Happy enough. I'll refine a lot of these little details at the end as well. I'll add a little more details into it, try and straighten lines, all that kind of thing. But that's the general idea of my take on a cityscape, a very misty morning cityscape. I'll be right back with part 3. Thank you so much for watching. Talk anyway.